trying to make friends abroad when you feel lonely feels a lot like dating.
Hi lovely humans! 3 weeks ago I asked you guys on Instagram what types of video you wanted to see next on this channel, and lots of you were curious to hear my thoughts about being lonely when you're moving abroad, how you make new friends in a new place, all that kind of stuff. And I did afterwards film that video, but it ended up being really messy. I was rambling, being a bit emotional.
Or maybe I will stay lonely as fuck for all my stay in San Francisco. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe I will put the link in the description as an unlisted video, but I thought I would reshoot it and make a proper video explaining myself. So, feeling lonely and making new friends abroad. I think what makes this a big issue is that when we're moving away from home, whether for an academic exchange or a job or whatever, we feel like we're supposed to have the time of our life. We're supposed to have the best of our life experiences. We feel a sort of pressure to have this exciting, thrilling life full of adventures, and we're supposed to be so fulfilled. Maybe even more because some destinations are romanticized, but in general, moving away, moving abroad is fantasized about. So we feel like we are supposed to instantly have a group of friends when we arrive. We're supposed to instantly meet a group of cool international people who we're going to be so close with, and we're just going to do everything together, and we're just going to have those crazy parties, and we're going to have that extroverted, fun activities lifestyle. And we feel sometimes the need to portray that on social media, portray that living abroad lifestyle, both to show off for our friends and family back home, but also to compare ourselves to our other friends who are going abroad. It becomes almost sometimes, I feel, a form of competition of who's having the most awesome exchange experience, or who has the craziest, most beautiful job abroad. And that's really negative for us, and that makes it a big problem, because most of the time it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Most of us don't just meet people we're just incredibly compatible with on our first day in the city. We have so many things we want to do and experience, and places we want to explore, but we have no one to do it with. We have no one to come with us, and that's a struggle that we face when we go abroad. It's, oh my god, so many cool things to do. Wait, I have to do them alone because I have no one here. I also feel like it's the reason why so many of you wanted to hear me talk about this topic. It's because I feel like lots of you guys have experienced this at some point in your life, this feeling of emptiness or loneliness, and you felt like you weren't supposed to feel that way, and that wasn't normal, and what is wrong with me for not enjoying it to the max and not being super extroverted and having already tons of friends. And I want to be able to say it's normal, and I'm like that, and I think most people are like that. To give you a bit of background on myself, I'm French, I'm from Paris, and have studied abroad in China for a year. I was in Shanghai, then I came back to France, and now I live in San Francisco. I've been here for a month, and I came here for an internship. So it was my second big move abroad. So you might think, okay, now I've got this figured out. It's my second move abroad, I know how things work, I know how to make friends, blah blah blah. But I don't. I honestly don't know. I'm just winging it, and I honestly think most people are just winging it and improvising as it comes. Being in new social situations is really stressful for me, and social interactions with new people are so draining and dreadful for me. I think it's the case for lots of people, but that makes meeting new people difficult, and I'm like, I need my alone time. Do I really need to be so much out of my comfort zone? And that makes a tension between me wanting to just stay alone and having my time and my bubble and my comfort zone, and me wanting friends. Because I'm still a social person, I do enjoy being friends with people and having contact and having a rich social life. And that tension can be really difficult to handle, and has been difficult to handle, especially when I just arrived. I crave intimacy in friendships. I crave this deep personal bond of feeling like you can rely on each other and be really there for each other. So I need to feel that I'm really intensely clicking and connecting with people. And I think lots of you can understand what I'm saying. We want those deep connections. We want that support system. We want to feel like we can have people we can really rely on. Because when we arrive to a new place, we don't have that. But we don't want to like go through the whole process to get there. We just want that result. We don't want to go through the struggle of meeting so many new people to just get one that we click with. This whole friend dating process, I call it friend dating because I feel it really like it, is a hassle. And we don't want to go through that. We just want the end result of having that friendship. Except it doesn't work that way. Most of the time we have to go through that process. But sometimes it does work. And I think that's also like why I had trouble and struggles when I just arrived in San Francisco, is because for me, when I arrived in China, I had the stress-free experiences about making friends. Like during my first week or so, I met people I connected with, and some of them became my best friend in China. And 2 years later, we're still amazingly close and we're really great friends. So because I had such a great experience in China of meeting right away people I clicked with, and that became actual true friend, that set my standards quite high. And even if I knew I was not supposed to expect the same arriving in San Francisco, a part of me was like, yeah, maybe that will happen again. You will just meet those incredible people right away. Except I lucked out on that one. I feel like my friendship experience in China was just me being so lucky and so privileged, and that was rare. That was exceptionally rare what I got there, and it's normal that I'm not getting that now. I have a few co-workers that are great people that I can get along with and that I'm getting to know. And I also have people outside of work that I like hanging out with, but not that many people, and for now I don't have like that real friendship. And I think that's also the difference between being an expat now that I'm an intern, but that's kind of the expat life, and being an exchange student. When you go somewhere as an exchange student, you're surrounded with people who are also coming for that experience, or just people who are here for a limited amount of time and who are trying to make the most of it. They are in the same perspective as you are. When you go abroad for an internship, specifically, you're just there for a short amount of time, so you want to have like that really crazy experience, but you have a 9-to-5 job, and most importantly, people around you are not there for that same experience. They already have a social life, they already have friends, they don't necessarily need more friends. People don't need our friendship, we need theirs. In my case, I need their friendship and people don't need me. And the thing is, I kind of have I feel like I want to feel needed. I need to feel like people need me. Which is not my best personality trait. I'm not saying it's a great thing, I'm just saying that's how I am. I need to feel like people rely on me. Not that they're not that they're dependent on me, but that they rely on me, that they need me for something. And here people already have their life going on. They don't need me. I'm the one who needs them, and that makes me feel needy and clingy and like I'm just overbearing. I am the one doing this friend courting, initiating this friend dating process. I'm the one who has to put my best foot forward. I have to be the best version of myself so that people want to be friends with me, but also at the same time be myself in those interactions so that they don't want to become friends with someone that is actually not me, and that is just a version of me that I projected to make friends. Do you see what I mean? That whole process is tiring, and since I arrived, and especially soon after I arrived, there have been quite a few times where I felt unwanted, alone, like I'm not that great to hang out with. People obviously don't want to hang out with me, or this is just too much effort and why am I even bothering? I just can't do it, I won't succeed in making friends here and I'm just gonna stay lonely for 6 months in San Francisco. Like that's where the type of thoughts going on in my head sometimes. But most of the time was good. I don't want to say that I've been miserable for a month, because I clearly have not been. I've mostly had an amazing time, but I also want to acknowledge the bad and the sad days and the sad moments. That doesn't take away from the great experiences. And now I'm going to share with you a few things that I've learned along the way, and that might help you if you find yourself in a similar situation. First, I had to remind myself that people don't owe me friendship. In general, people don't owe you anything except the basic respect that they owe to another human being. But even if I put in effort, and even if I like people, people don't owe me to like me back. They don't owe me their friendship. And that's quite obvious for me in terms of romantic love, but I think I might have some rest of thinking like that in terms of friendship. And I had to be really conscious and mindful of blocking that thought process. Blocking my thoughts anytime I had something like, why am I so lonely? I don't deserve this. Because it's not a question of deserving it or not deserving it. The fact of having friends right away when you move abroad has nothing to do with your worth as a human being. So yeah, it can be a bit sad to feel like people don't owe you friendship. That's like a bit of a sad thought, like people don't owe me anything and they can just leave me alone in a corner. Yes, it can be a bit sad, but also it means that it doesn't take anything away from you as a person if people don't like you from the get-go. That doesn't mean that you're not a good person to hang out with. That doesn't mean anything. People just have their thing going on that have nothing to do with you. Secondly, and that goes hand in hand with the first one, you have to meet lots of people. What I mean by that is that statistically, you are not compatible to be friends with any person you meet. You have, like, I don't know how to say that, but you kind of have a certain percentage of people you meet that you naturally are drawn to and that you want to be friends with. And among that percentage of people you want to be friends with, a certain percentage of that will want to be friends with you. And that's this reciprocal friendship attraction that will create friendship. But because of those percentages, you might meet lots of people and you feel like you're meeting so many people and still there's barely like one person you're getting along well with. Taking that into consideration, I was like, okay, if I want to kind of increase my number of friends and if I want to increase the number of people I meet that I'm compatible to be friends with, you have to put yourself out there and meet lots of people. In my case, that meant that I was going to sacrifice a lot of my alone time. That was like a sacrifice that I decided to do. I was like, okay, I need a certain amount of alone time. Clearly, if I want to get out, meet people, make friends, I have to choose. And from the start, I chose to invest more into meeting lots of people. Meeting lots of people, you can do it through a bunch of ways. That can be through your work, through your colleagues, your co-workers, their friends, through events that are organized for newcomers in your city, through hobbies, clubs, sport events, conferences on topic you like, bar crawls, dating apps, meetup groups, whatever, like the website meetups. I haven't used it much, but it does seem great to meet people with common interests and build friendship groups. That's like my next step. My next step for me now is to get on meetups and actually go to the meetups groups and meet people that way. The third thing is that it is okay to be picky in terms of friendship. If you have certain standards or tastes or just value you want to share with your friends, unless you like have crazy high standards, but most people don't, it's okay. You have every right to be like, I want to be friends with people that share this value or this value, who have this type of lifestyle. That's okay. You have a right to do that. And you don't have to accept any people who are offering you that friendship just because you're lonely. In fact, I think you shouldn't do that. Don't become friend with someone that you have no interest in being friend with them. Just because you're lonely, just because you're desperate. Don't do that, because you're wasting that person's time. That person wants to have real friends too. And if you're hanging out with them or you don't even really like them, you're depriving them from an opportunity of going out with people that they're actually good friends with. And yourself, you're taking time and energy that you could invest in finding people that you're actually compatible with and that you actually click with. Last point, which may be obvious but it's still necessary, and maybe I will sound harsh, but lower your expectations. This piece of advice might not be for everyone, but personally I like to keep my expectations in life pretty low because I'm less likely to be disappointed, because I am going to put less pressure on myself to succeed, and because I will feel less guilt and shame if it's not working out perfectly. If you keep your expectations in terms of making friends, etc., quite low, then when you're not going to make that many friends right away, it's not going to be too bad for your self-esteem because you are expecting it. It's like, yeah, that's what I was imagining. We have to be patient with ourselves. We just have to give ourselves time to just slowly adapt to the new culture, to the new place. Just keep it a bit slower and not getting discouraged. It's not because it's not working right away that's just not for us and that's going to be awful. We have to take it slow but be consistent and keep putting ourselves out there. Keep making effort, keep putting in. Because I feel like we shouldn't quantify relationships so much in terms of how much you're putting it in. You can also just give in and feel like just putting in the effort of getting to know so many new people, even if they don't end up being friends, you will have talked to them, you will have learned from them in a way, and that will also enrich you, even if they're not going to stay in your life for long or even not at all. Anyway, this was probably a bit all over the place, but I hope I got my point across and you understood what I meant. I would love to hear your opinions and experiences in the comments, how you felt like when you moved abroad, what was making new friends like for you. I appreciate you all for watching until the end. You can subscribe if you want to see more of that type of content, and see you soon. I'm having so much trouble making this video. Like, I know what I want to express, but I keep messing it up, and that's really annoying. It's like, I feel like it's interesting that doing this video is so difficult. Anyway, let's start from the beginning.